Welcome back, Amanda Ybanez. That's me. And so we here to my left is Principal Daniel Larkin.
Hi, I'm Dan Larkin. I'm proud principal of Hawai'i Elementary School, just a little bit north of Farrington High School. And I am the leader of this school that is one of the best schools in the entire state. We have kids with the greatest of hearts and the strongest of minds. I'm very proud to be here.
And I'll insert myself, Lealoha Tumbaga.
I know Lei was mentioning about our keiki. What are they doing and why that's important? And who best to speak about the keiki and the schools and the DOE and the different programs and the outreach that he does in the community other than Principal Larkin? The programs, the outreach, what you've done, or where you're taking the school, what's important to you, and why Kalihi is important to you as well.
Yeah. Well, let's start with that last one. Why Kalihi is important to me. I've done my entire career here in Kalihi, where I've gotten to touch the hearts and minds of so many brilliant future leaders of our state and our nation, in fact. Many of my students have gone on to prestigious careers. Some have gone to Harvard and Yale and on full ride scholarships, which is amazing. And that's the exact kind of leadership we want to impart on our students. And so for me, I feel it's my duty to, at least uplift one child every year personally to make sure that they can move on to a better thing that they might not have had opportunities to get to. And then, of course, my job is to help everybody else in the school uplift and more and more kids. Many of our students come from kind of not troubled pasts, but difficult pasts or difficult environments, whether it's due to socioeconomic issues or other things like they come from different cultures that might not have had the exposure to education that we have here in the United States. Mm-hmm. So we get to uplift them in various ways. I think one of the best things that we have that's really strong in Kalihi as a whole, and it's getting stronger in the entire state, is our programs for our ELL, our English language learners, people who move to the United States, seeking out the better life and improvements in their lives as a whole. Now, making sure that they can transition into our society and be able to acclimate themselves across the threshold. And one of the things that most people don't realize is that if students do move in and they're able to graduate out of the program, they have like a 65% chance of graduating high school and moving on to college, which is actually better than the actual regular state average of students that are just sitting there. Now, that's an estimate average, but they really actually do a really good job. And so we have instituted a lot of programs at our school and many schools around the area to really target that group of kids. We even have a newcomers class, as I know they do in some of the middle schools and high schools, where we specifically pull those kids out and get them their, we'll call it emergency English, so they know how to ask to go to the bathroom and get a drink and learn their ABCs. And they get about a year of exposure in that before transitioning back into the regular classroom. Beyond those kiddos, we have a bunch of students that are challenged socioeconomically, so they don't get the opportunities that many of our more affluent kids have to do programs like soccer, football, and other programs like that, because their parents are either working 2 jobs or just financially can't go into things like I-9 sports, which is like $200 just to get in. So we are actively doing after-school programs for free for our kids.
Wow.
So right now we have esports, which has 30 kids right now, and it's our first year for esports,
Wow.
as do many of the other schools in Kalihi and throughout the state. And most people don't realize this, but
Wow.
the latest, last couple years, esports has become a huge thing out in the real world with multi-million-dollar prizes for first place.
Wow.
A guy nicknamed Ninja on there. I don't know if you ever heard of him. You might have heard of him. Yeah, Ninja is very, very popular. I think he made something like $29 million last year in prizes.
Wow.
Something like that. I don't know. I can't remember where I heard that fact from. Or
He has
that
a skin
figure
on Fortnite too.
from. His own skin.
Ariana Grande
yes.
has a skin, like all these big time,
Right.
like popular people.
And so
It's a big
Amazing.
we're transitioning away from just video games for funsies at home to actual competitive sports that are making big money, not only for the players, but for the people supporting it, doing such things as broadcast and the background electronics and things like that. Pretty much for every 2 players, there's 10 people supporting. It's kind of crazy how many support people there are.
if I don't mind
Yeah.
me asking, I did want to know if there were any like protocols or like if along with, you know, competing competitively, is there also like a safety
Oh yeah.
portion, right? Because when I grew up, we learned like the basics of typing in a computer. And then I think along the way, we just learned from our teachers passively, like, be careful on the internet, and we hear like kind of like the horror stories of, and what's going on right now with technology, it's evolving, it's scary, and I just want our kids to also evolve and also help us. Technology is gonna be out of my reach like who knows, you know?
By tomorrow. Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question.
Yes, yeah.
Because that is actually one of the foundational parts of why we're doing the esports, is to get the kids who are more actively involved in that, and as we expand it, to know their real deep-seated security issues.
Yes.
So first, of course, we teach sportsmanship, basic sportsmanship. No swearing, no making fun of everybody else and all that. But then we talk about, okay, well, if you're on Discord, which is a chat server, be careful of things because there's people that are going to try to do things.
Yeah.
And that has actually happened to some of my students through Discord or Snapchat or things like that. Roblox. So all those in the esports thing is a foundation within there, and that spreads the knowledge some. But also in 3rd, 4th, and 5th, our teachers explicitly talk about it. We have guest speakers at least once a year for each of those. And our computer science technology class also has that built into it. And now that is a mandated class for every single student in every single grade, computer science. So they have to have it, which is way better than it used to be. That said, it does morph so fast that it's really hard to keep up with, even for our computer science teachers and for us as adults. A lot of things that you think you know on the internet are not even true. We just teach them the big basics. Don't believe what you read. Don't believe what you see. Until you can actually do it yourself, don't even believe it. Because everything on the internet can be spoofed in some way or the other. And then, of course, we have other sports. We have a basketball team. We have a volleyball team. AFY, Adult Friends for Youth, is our coaches for the...
Adult Friends for Youth?
Yeah.
Wow.
There are now our our volleyball coaches, and they're doing a lot of fun. The kids absolutely love it.
Fantastic.
We had an awesome EA that had been doing it for a few years, but she's like, I can't keep doing it. And so I'm like, yes, I got them.
That's great.
And then we've got choir and piano lessons and things like that. All these after-school things. And the purpose isn't just to give them skills. It's to engage them in the community and give them a sense of belonging at the school and a safe zone that they can express themselves in their own unique way. And also to be able to trust somebody. Because, you might like me, but you might not trust me because I'm a guy.
That's right.
Some students don't trust guy teachers or stuff like that, so maybe you need a coach like Amanda who can relate, or vice versa. And that has actually panned out to be very, very helpful.
Excellent.
And then, of course, the other that leads into the in-school, during school supports that we have. Of course, we have our counselor. We've always had counselors. But one thing that is kind of new for the DOE as a whole is the Hazel Health, which is a mental health.
I heard about that. Yeah, what is that about?
So that is a really unique thing, I think, to Hawaii. I don't know if they have it in the mainland. But if you've ever heard of BetterHelp, which is like dial a psychologist.
Okay.
It's kind of like that, but for kids, where it's an actual psychologist or therapist on the other end, where they can have a private conversation about whatever is going on with their lives. And it can range from anything from abuse to sexual assault to suicide and depression, or just generally anxiety and things like that. They just have to go to a counselor and ask for help with parent permission.
And I want to jump in here just a little bit, because that you raise something that is so important with all of the concerns like COVID, the lockdown, federal funds being cut, and a lot of people going hungry, and the lack of resources. 1.4 million people on this island, according to the last census. I think it's a little bit more. And for the lack of resources, affordability, economic challenges from public housing. I came from public housing myself, so I can relate to that on a very human level and a very real level and connect to my community on that sort of level. And you touch base on that why counselors are so important, why teachers are so important, because it gives the children a way to get the help that they need, get the outreach. There's other eyes than just their family members and their environment, because sometimes, because we don't live in a perfect world, people make mistakes, open the door and you'll see how many thousands of people that are homeless and unaffordable. So there's mistakes and issues and concerns galore. How can we help each other? So going back to encapsulating the outreach that you do to KPT, to camp housing, and the other challenged populations that you have actually done your own work as a principal to go out there and touch the lives of so many people. Can we talk about that for a moment?
Yep, and that leads to the other supports that we have in school. So those are within the DOE. Hazel Health counselors, we have BHSs and things like that. And then we branch out to the community partnerships that we have. So PACT Head Start,
Nice.
we have a very strong partnership with them.
Nice.
I mean, I would say at least 10, 15 times a year I'm at either a meeting with them or in some sort of direct communication. One of their board members is actually on our SCC. So, we definitely keep strong communication
Excellent.
with them. And oftentimes they have after school programs that we like, hey, I need you to pull these kids in.
Good. Good.
So that's one. Susanna Wesley
very
up the
good.
road.
Susanna
we also
Wesley.
partner with quite a bit.
Great.
We send kids to them. Oftentimes, I hate to say it, but if we know that they have problems at KPT, we say go to Susanna Wesley. And if they don't have problems at KPT, we say to go to PACT. Because they're in two different areas and we can kind of mitigate that by distance. And sometimes that's all it takes.
I think
many
that's
other
why I
organizations like
gravitated
that.
towards the schools, and I worked in the DOE myself, by the way, and I had great experiences working at all the schools and with all the people and all the children especially. I think that's why I gravitated towards this conversation with you, Principal Larkin, is because you just don't do the work, but you're just like me. We go out there and we wear our sleeves on our heart on our sleeves, and we're very authentic and genuine when we speak with people, when we're speaking with the families, when we see the needs of the children. We're not like, that's not my job. That's not in my
that is
job
our
description. I'm going to stay within this because that's comfortable. Principal Larkin, we gravitated towards each other because he believes in the keiki. He believes that opportunities should be open to everyone. If I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken, I
100%.
think we share that value of the children having opportunities that maybe some others don't have. And you are able to actually pinpoint and define and find out and help these children, right? When I was young, we didn't have so many of these programs that exist now, and how lucky we are, but we have to connect them to the resources,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
So that's where you come into play, that you're able to connect people and the families and the children, even if they're coming from socially, economically depressed environments, such as, I'm sorry to say it, and it's true, public housing. And here I am, I'm perfect proof, but I'm one of the few people of Hawaii that drugs didn't affect me. I was so lucky because there's so many people that I grew up with that it affected their lives. I see them on the street sometime. I do not shy the other way. I do say hi. I do try to greet them. There's those that had to leave the island because of lack of education. So I thank you for bringing that up. That even if you finish school, that's a leg up in Hawaii. You can get a job at least with something. So if you wanted to highlight that about the outreach that you do, because you're in the middle, you're in the thick of it.
Yeah, I'm right
You
there
are
at
you are
KPT.
right in
Yeah.
the thick of it, and you see all these things happening. There's all these examples that these children that are so susceptible and can get impacted from their environment and go, that's normal. How are you dealing with that struggle every day as well?
Boy, and the variety of different things you just brought up,
Yeah.
it's hard to pinpoint one. But I think one thing
Yeah.
that I can talk about, but there is a local homeless individual with some mental issues that are not easily identifiable if you don't have education in that kind of vein.
Yeah.
But you can definitely see that there's something going on. And sometimes they come up and they're asking questions about this person. And it's kind of funny that their hearts are so emboldened to find out the why.
Yeah.
So instead of going, just stay away, I go, okay, well, let's talk about this person. And we talk about their needs, their struggles, and we build the empathy while also building safety. So this person is not mentally capable enough to not just take your food, okay? They will go up and take your food.
Yeah.
But that is not because they are doing it with malicious
Maliciously.
intent.
Right.
They're hungry and they see food, and that is literally about
Their
their
need.
need,
Yeah.
need fulfillment.
Yeah.
And so we talk about that, about not trying to get retribution against somebody like that they need help. And that if they see that, don't try to run away. Just, if you give them food, fine. If not, walk away nicely. If you need help, go find an adult, kind of thing. Calmer, nicer ways to deal with that. And then we, as a school, have reached out through various organizations to try to get that person some help. But first thing we're trying to do is get people to go help them
Yes.
before we move them on their way away from where they're endangering kids. So there's a process that we need to follow, and that we engage in that process actively versus passively and just hoping something will go away, or trying to push threats away without leading to the empathy that we need to have for other human beings. And we do that even at the KPT or other houses. We know that they're going through some stuff, you know? I mean, a lot of their families got some stuff, health issues. I remember very clearly going to a house and the mom came to the door, and I was kind of upset because the kid hadn't been to school in a long time. And mom was obviously not doing well, health-wise. This was a while back.
Yeah.
And so instead of going at her and saying, hey, I don't care about your health issues, I come with the approach of, hey, obviously you're going through some stuff. What can we do to help you and help your family so
Compassionate
that
care.
we can get to your kiddo?
Compassion.
Guess whose kids started coming to school more often?
That family.
Yeah. Was attendance perfect? No. But 2 days more is 2 days more learning.
Nothing's ever perfect.
Nothing's ever
It's
perfect.
not a
and
perfect
yeah.
world.
Yeah. Well, at the same time, sometimes you do have to come down with a little bit of a hard hand on parents who are obviously not doing this stuff that they
Guidance.
need, because we have to hold them accountable for their actions as well. Like, so we've had to call CPS on parents in the past because they're just simply not sending their kids to school so that they don't have to wake up. I'm not okay with that. If you're
Yeah.
not sending your kids to school because you're lazy, too bad. I'm no longer your friend.
Yeah.
There's a big difference there,
There's
right?
a line there.
I will
There's a
be
line.
compassionate with you if you're going through some stuff, and we will work our way through it, versus I'm lazy. No. That does not work for me.
Right.
And that doesn't work for me for our kids either. If you're just lazy, not doing your work, too bad, let's go work. And that's how we improve, right? You got to hold accountability for yourself and for the keiki of our future.
Wow, thank you for sharing all of that. That is some in-depth, more than I've heard from any principal, and I'm sure there's other principals that do that
Oh,
work
yeah.
too.
Every
But
single one of us out
geez,
there, pretty much.
you walk the walk and you talk the talk, and that's why we all connect here, because Kalihi, with all the things that are going on, with all the examples that these children are getting impacted by, they're very susceptible. Let's take, for example, a conversation I had. She was a 6th grader, and while I was helping all the students with their reading, writing, arithmetic, every so often I like to ask questions. So one of the questions that I like to ask are, what are your dreams? Who do you want to be? What do you want to be? Do you have any idea? Share with me. And her answer was, and this is true, I want to be on EBT just like my mom and stay home all day long. And that was the best fantasy that she had for her future. And that's why your job as an educator and as a leader in the environment, because you're a leader and advocate for the people, is to inspire that spark inside the children to want to have more, even if it's just a dream. It's something, something more than what they see every single day. And I can also connect to that from public housing, but I didn't have parents that let me sit still. They're like, go to school, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. I'm the youngest out of 5, very meager beginnings. I'm only the 2nd one out of 5 that's educated. I was lucky enough, but I had to clean classrooms since the 1st grade. Youngest janitor ever to clean the classrooms to help pay for my education. And I did that all the way to completing high school. I cleaned classrooms in order to help pay for my own education. finding the value and with adults like you and leaders in the community that are positive, that don't judge, that are not punitive, that are not judgmental, that will not punish you for being less than what they are when you see them. And I really connect with what you said. You meet people with where they're at. You don't talk down to them. You don't see their imperfection and you're guilty of this. You're guilty of being a human being. How can I help you? And you do exactly what we all do, that do the outreach, do the meaningful human touch, that human, soulful, genuine touch of concern and compassion, and to try to change one conversation, one child at a time with each conversation. Is that true?
Oh, absolutely. We have to continue the push regardless of the situation while being compassionate.
Yeah,
and
that's hard to do sometimes.
one of the things that I'm kind of happy about nowadays is people have recognized that back about 10, 20 years ago when everybody's like, college this, college that, that kind of puts some kids out of the spark for hope.
Yeah.
And we're coming back around with
That's
the
right.
CTEs, career technical education, with new hope for these kids, because honestly, AI, good old AI, is going to probably get rid of a lot of the jobs that technical fields were for a long
I
time.
never thought about that.
And what
AI.
really still matters is jobs that can't be replaced easily by a computer, such as masonry, electronics,
labor
like
jobs.
the actual
You gotta
electricians,
do it there.
plumbing. My son does
Yeah.
sheet metal. He was not a good student. And thank
Yeah.
God we went and got some advice about sheet metal. That bugger going to be making more money than me,
Yeah.
folding a piece of metal.
Trade.
And
The
it's
trades.
a great trade, and
Yeah.
and it's hard work. Don't get me wrong, but he's happy in that life, and he's going to be making good money doing it. And as long as we keep them pushing along towards a direction with multiple pathways, not just college, but college, a technical field, a passion that they have.
So you're having conversations with elementary school kids
Oh, absolutely.
about that.
Absolutely.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, and we the Masons Union comes and does their union
Right
meetings
on.
at our school.
Right on. That's
and then
good.
we have them come and speak at our career fest, and so all sorts of things. So just make sure that the kids can see that there's more pathways out there than used to be advertised so much. And frankly, that's going to be some of those stronger pathways moving forward, because that generation, the generation that did that, is all retiring.
Yes.
And we need some
Yes,
people to be
that's
able to
right.
go
The
and
baby
do that.
boomers are retiring. Yes, they are.
Yeah, and so it's going to be a good fit for this generation. I think they have a lot of hope.
I definitely agree with you. It shouldn't just be like, okay, we're high school, you're in 11th grade, let's start having that conversation. It starts
gotta
much
start way earlier.
It starts way
Yeah.
earlier. So I want to thank you, because many people don't think about that. Sometimes people think, hey, they're in high school, let's start that conversation about what trade, where you want to go, where you want to live. That's a lot for somebody that is 18 years old and going through hormones and so many other impacts that they're dealing with. Some of them even have to work and get their worker's permit because they're coming. Hawaii's expensive. Everybody's doing their part in a home just to make it. That impacting children in a positive way starts so much earlier, right? Like, let's think about it. Some parents put children in front of a TV and that's their babysitter. And all of a sudden they're playing Roblox or Discord and somebody else is babysitting your kid. And they're getting themselves into trouble of all sorts that you didn't know because you're not guiding them. Somebody else is. And that somebody else is not a good person. So thank you, Principal Larkin,
No
for
problem.
the outreach and the work and the programs that you have and the resources that you give. And that's exactly the type of kalihi, the type of people, the type of community, and exactly the future that we need to plant the seeds of tomorrow.
Thank
It's
you.
positive, starting earlier, not just high school, not just middle school, but you take an active role and you take ownership of that, and that's something that is rare.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I will give a plug to all the rest of the principals and staff in Kalihi as a whole, and all of Honolulu District. Every principal I've met, and I've met literally all of them, they're on the right track. They're doing the right things for the right reasons. They might do it in different ways, but they all have the right purpose. And I'd say 98 to 99% of the DOE employees as a whole are in the same pathway.
Amazing.
Their hearts are in the right place. We just approach things slightly differently. And if you find that common ground, move forward with that.
Yeah, I
you
have to say the
love
same.
To hear stuff from all
Yeah.
the other schools that are going on.
That would be great.
Great things, yeah.
Yeah,
Great
that would
things.
be great. I would love to have them on my show too. Yeah, at any time. But luckily, we have that connection because you're in Kalihi in the middle of it all. And yeah, I do thank you for the DOE and all the hard work that the people do, because I do have that experience too, working in the DOE. For Lei, what are your feelings and thoughts of the children, whether it's high school, middle school, and just overall, what are your thoughts with all of this?
And my personal thought is I just hope we're all able to learn from each other, right? Because the kids are learning. Our job is to learn, to teach them to learn, right? But we can also learn from them too. Discord, Roblox, it's gonna be there unless someone tries to take it down, but it's there. So I want to be there with them, and so I'm
Yeah.
trying to be like the good example, playing with them. And
Positive examples.
yes,
Yeah.
babysitting them virtually. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good. I
Yeah.
mean, a lot of people try to look for different ways to engage with the kids and electronics, because when I was growing up, we still had typewriters. We didn't have computers. Oh man, I'm aging myself. But yeah, hey, it is what it is. So we have to move with the times. We have to move with what the children are utilizing. But at the same time, we have to also measure what is a good amount of electronic time. What is a bad amount of electronic time? How do you use AI? How do you use all these new things in a responsible manner? But that takes guidance. That takes teachers. Like, you have a media center in your classroom. Are you teaching your kids how to be just like here on Olelo, how to broadcast things?
Yeah, we have a broadcast that we do every week for our kids. Basically,
Fascinating.
it's the same setup that we have here, but we totally have those kind of things going on at the school, and we like partnering with different outside organizations and improving our reach, so to speak. And I really like what you were saying about, uplifting the whole community as a unit, basically. And I think that's exactly what we got to keep doing. So thank you for that. If you want to get into education, even if it's not as a teacher, every school needs help, whether it's a one-on-one tutor for special needs kids. There's jobs at almost every school that are available for whatever skill set you're looking for.
Wow.
So just go up and say, hey, are you guys looking for any help? And whatever you're ready for, we'll get you there. Some of our PPTs, which used to do the small one-on-one help, are teachers now at our school, and they're fantastic. In fact, our technology coordinator slash media guy, he was a PPT at the school that just grew into the thing, and he's a fantastic teacher. So is his wife, who also works at our school. So, yeah.
Hey, it takes a village to raise a family and raise a community and raise the kids, it takes a village.
Yeah.
There you go. What's really important about this segment is speaking about children, and for adults and leaders and advocates in our community, whether it's in the DOE or it's resource service providers like PACT or Susanna Wesley, that we all play a strategic role in our community, being positive and showing positive examples of bridging people together, finding solutions together, and meeting people with where they're at. So I wanted to thank you, Principal Larkin, for being on here, and to also be an inspiration to not only the children, but also the staff and everybody that comes into contact with you. You just have a very positive vibe, and I really thank you for that.
Thank you very much, and I'm very happy to join you here. And I invite anybody in the community to come visit my school, Ybanez Elementary School, 1240 Gulick Avenue. And then you can stop up at Gulick Delicatessen or Matsumoto's Okazuya right across the street and have something to eat afterwards.
Thank you so much.